instructors always shared the importance of taking care of our feet. So I always start with the feet. I also want to shout out to my present day mentor, Brooke McPoyle, who really helps express the importance and power of taking care of your fascia from the ground up. Again, these are things I've been influenced to incorporate through many instructors and teachers, mentors in my life. It's hard to keep track of all of the different pieces to the puzzle and give attribution for every single part. I will acknowledge that this routine is something that I've synthesized pulling from many, many, many different sources. Please know that these are things for you too to adapt to your body and form. It is ultimately up to you to listen to your body, to know that having professional support in person can really help to modify things accordingly. So this is just for educational and food for thought purposes. Take what you want, leave the rest. So one thing that I would invite people to have is a block or a book that you can stand on, tennis balls, or just a hard medicine ball if you have it. These are things you can do without if you don't have them. But we always start with awareness of our feet and our breath and scanning through the body. So I invite you to start to just scan up from the bottom of your feet through your legs, engage those quads, feel the glutes tweeze a little, the core hugs in, that navel towards spine, rib cage knits, shoulders up, back, and down. Imaginary string at the crown of the head draws your spine tall. Take a breath. We're going to go ahead and lean forward into our toes, lean into the heels, lean side to side. Start to feel the weight of your body distribute evenly throughout different edges of your feet. Lifting your toes up, go ahead and see if you can spread your toes wide. That is a really helpful factor for balance work in particular, and just for the health of your feet and the fascia, the plantar fascia. So I invite you to spread your toes, wiggle them if you can, lift a heel when you're ready, maybe fold over the top of your toes. Some people will do these practices in shoes. I highly recommend getting barefoot. Really rehabilitating our feet is, again, so important for being able to work on the rest of the body. So just take a moment, stretch the front of your foot, press into the top of the toes, do it both sides. Now, if you have a block, I invite you to also step onto the edge of the block or the book that you're using to stretch through the back of the calf on one side, do it with the other. And there's a whole routine that is, if you're interested in learning from Brooke McPoyle on the fascia flow routine at musical breath work, you can definitely learn a lot from her. I'm currently going through her certification, but using the ball for the bottom of the feet can also be a good warm up. Not going to spend too much time on that today, though. What we're going to do for a few more warm-up routines before our first combination includes a nice toe emphasis, heel lift onto balance onto the toes. And as you lift your heels, lift your arms up overhead, start to go back and forth, up, engage, and release. Take a breath in with the up swing, then release with the down swing, up. Couple more times. Up and hold it, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, feel your balance onto the toe mounds, the balls of your feet. Reach through the fingertips towards the sky. And release, beautiful. We're gonna heel toe wider. Go ahead and do some nice torso rotations. Create some loose and limber rotations here. Feel your side body, feel the twist in your spine, your arms kind of like jelly, just flowing through space. Very nice. Coming to center. Nice wide stance, parallel feet. We're going to do an imaginary beach ball hug and shallow squat. Just take a beat there and then open up, stretch your arms wide, stretch through the chest, shoulder blades together. Again, hug that imaginary beach ball, shallow squat. Feel your tailbone reach towards the floor and then back up. Let's go ahead and coordinate it with our breath a few times. Inhale, extension, exhale, hug that imaginary ball. Take a breath there and then back and forth, back and forth. Okay, next time we go into that low squat, hold it, tug that imaginary beach ball, really let the sit bones reach towards the floor, engage the core, navel towards spine. I'm going to repeat that a whole lot. Feel the heat you're generating in the body there, and then open it up. Release. Very nice. Go ahead and just pivot side to side to that crescent. Just flow, arms up overhead. A few more times. Very nice. We're going to do our first combination. So we're going to balance into the right foot. Feel roots growing down into the earth through that right foot. Toe tap the left toe out to the side, or whichever side you're starting on. Plant into one foot, toe tap on the other side. Now move anything out of the way. We're going to toe tap across the body and out. Balancing into that leg. Feel those roots grow, core hugs in. Find a point of focus with your eyes. Notice how you feel on this side. If you're feeling good, you can start to swing the leg. You can always stick with the toe taps if you prefer. Arms go back and forth as a counterbalance. Open up that leg with a bit of a ballistic movement before we then go into some static postures. Stepping out wide this time into a side squat. Sit bones reach behind you, core hugs in, hover over that squat leg. Now that stretching leg, feel that inner thigh. You can keep toes on the ground or pivot toes towards the ceiling here. You could use a block to land on with your hands. Your hands can stay on your quads, or you can go all the way down towards the ground if that serves you. Take another couple breaths on this side. Feel that stretch. Feel the heat generate from that squat. All right. Coming upright, plant into that left foot, or right foot, excuse me. If you're mirroring me, let the dog pass by. And we're going to step across that supporting leg into a curtsy shape. Pick your distance between the feet, and then that arm, same as back leg, is going up and overhead. Stretching through the side body from that ankle all the way through the IT band, the obliques, that lat region, tricep, maybe opposite hand draws the hand over a little bit more. Breathe into it. Inhale, reach tall with the torso. Exhale, other side. Stretch. Feel the difference with the same position in the lower body, opposite in the upper body. Inhale. Now, ordinarily, I'd go through that same sequence once more, but we're going to let that go. Just do this a little bit more briskly today. We'll switch sides, do the same thing on the other side. Planting into that left foot now. Toe tap the right. Feel those roots grow. Scan through the body. Everything works in concert here. Toe tap across and out. Cross and out. Pick a pace. Find your way. Maybe you start to swing. That can help with really loosening up the hip. Feel the motion as well as the stability here. Next time the leg goes out wide, step into that side squat. Begin to stretch through the opposite leg and inner thigh. Maybe toes stay planted or pivot. Maybe you stay on that upper tier, or maybe start to migrate towards the floor. Maybe heel that foot out if you need to go wider to get lower. They say 30 seconds is the sweet spot for increases in range of motion. That research you can find a great deal in from Andrew Huberman and his podcasts, and comparing different types of stretching routines, the ongoing debate about the order of operations. Go ahead and take a moment to transition through center, stepping that squat leg across the supporting leg in front, and then find your way to that curtsy shape. Same arm as back leg is reaching up and overhead. Breathe here. Feel the stretch. Maybe take opposite hand to that overhead hand and draw it gently over. Inhale, get tall in the spine. Exhale, just move the torso the other direction for a moment. One of the things to pay attention to in this space too is the hips. You can also feel the rib cage. Let's do that other side. We're just going to go back through center, go to the original side for that curtsy shape. So that left foot steps across the right leg, the left arm reaches up and overhead. And then just take a moment, notice your hips. Make micro movements in the hips, feel the side body stretch there. Then the rib cage, rotate it towards the floor a little. Then up towards the ceiling, look up underneath that bicep. Up towards that ceiling. And then look towards the floor, find a point of focus for your eyes. Let that hand draw from overhead down into a forward fold. Again, you can use a block here. If you can, if it's not too much pressure in your head, let your head hang heavy over those curtsy legs. Just feel the compression between the legs. Bend the knees as needed. Feel the hamstring stretch on that back leg. The low back getting a nice stretch. Hands come to hips, navel hugs in, coming up vertebra by vertebra. Learned that the other day. Someone was correcting me. I said vertebrae. It's vertebra for singular. Let's do the same thing other side. So plant into that left foot, right foot steps across. Which way are we going? Here we go. Oh, yeah, no, this is correct. It's funny how sometimes feels a little different on each side. Take a moment with your hips, micro movements there. The rib cage. I think I went the wrong direction there. Other side, whatever that is for you. Hips move, rotate the rib cage towards the floor, up towards the ceiling. Take a breath here. Look towards the floor, find a point of focus. Then fold forward over the curtsy shape in your legs. Bend the knees as needed. Feel the compression, feel the stretch of the hamstrings, the low back. Breathe. Navel hugs in, hands to hips, and come up vertebrae by vertebrae with an in-breath. Again, we're going pretty briskly through this. I could really stay there quite a while longer. This next segment too, one of the ways you can modify it is with a chair in front of you, just working through a L shape in the body versus we're going to do a standard forward fold with parallel feet. If it's too much pressure in the head, use a wall, walk your feet back, just stretch this direction, or go folding parallel feet. Take a moment to bend your knees as much as needed. Let your body fold. Head drops, nod it yes, nod it no. Maybe grab opposite elbows, swing the body side to side. Maybe interlace fingers behind the spine, squeeze the shoulders. Something to pay attention to here as you fold that too is imagine that you could pull the floor between your feet away from, it's like you could crack the floor open, not moving the feet physically, isometrically engaging. That position and your feet engaging can actually open up the pelvis. Feel what happens. Maybe just imagine pivoting the heels away from each other and feel the pelvis open up. Bend your knees, ragdoll forward, and come up vertebra by vertebra. Slow and steady. Shoulder roll once you get there. Moving right along, we've got our second combination coming up here. We're going to use the block or the hardwood floor, whatever surface you want, your mat, stone floor in this case, concrete. I'm going to use the block. So stepping onto the block with that left or right foot if you're mirroring me. Notice whichever foot you're starting with. And we're going to just start with that balance, roots Roots grow from that supporting leg deep into the earth. Toe tap forward and back. Start there. Feel how it is to go forward and back here, then swing. Arms counterbalance as needed. And go ahead and draw that knee into a tuck when you're ready. Parallel to the floor, nice 90-degree angle there, and then hinge. Letting that leg swing behind you. Come in alignment with the supporting leg, either toe tap, hover, go parallel to the floor if you can. Feel all those micro movements in that supporting leg. Stabilizing your hips square. Draw it through center, knee tuck. If you want to add on to this, you can add an extension here. Now this is where too, letting your arms move intentionally can help with balance. Core hugs in, finding a point of focus with your eyes, doing what you got to do to keep your balance. See how I had to just move my arms around there? Breathe. Now you can also do a nice sweep here if you want with your arms. Toe tap, woo! And hover. Or you can just stick with the knee tuck. That's about time under tension rather than repetitions. Feel that leg already working real hard. This was inspired by a Peter Attia movement I found on his Instagram once upon a time. He was talking about strengthening the knee and the supporting muscles. Now that we've done that side, go ahead and pat out the supporting leg, the glute, maybe down the leg, pick it out, refresh. And do the other side. Stepping onto that block with the opposite foot. Roots grow from that foot down into the earth. Toe tap forward and back. Swing when you're ready. And when you're ready, go into the knee tuck. And hinge. That leg that hovers behind aligns with the supporting leg. Toe tap, hover, or parallel to the ground. Woo. Through center, knee tuck. Maybe add the extension. Just an option. It's very common for one side to feel more stable than the other. Adding some movements with the arms if you want to play with it, make it more of a dance, maybe a little qigong. Feel the energy, feel yourself moving through space. A little bit longer on this side. Again, about time under tension, rather than repetitions, but you might start to catch the repetitions too. All right, let that go, pat out the leg. Very nice, okay. We're gonna go ahead and do a deep squat here. This is where too, if you want to just practice a shallow squat, if it's too much for you to let your sit bones reach towards the back of your heels, you can work with the back of a chair, a wall, whatever serves you. Some people have a hard time keeping feet parallel. It's fine to pigeon toe those feet out a little bit and dropping your sit bones back behind your heels. You're going all the way down into a deep squat. This is a resting pose across many areas of the world and throughout our ancestry. This is where humans used to hang out a lot more than we do today. And it's so good for supporting our digestion, the compression between our inner thighs and our torso can support that, as well as corrective for our hips, our pelvis. Do take a moment to engage the pelvic floor. All those tiny muscles surrounding the connection points of your hips to your pelvis. So the glutes hug in around the hip sockets. Navel hugs in towards the spine gently. Now you can isometrically push the back of your triceps into your inner thighs. Prayer pose to help open up those hips. Some people are going to find it easier to be up on their toe mounds versus down on the heels. I encourage you to go ahead and pivot between on the toes, toe mounds, otherwise known as balls of the feet, and then down towards the heels. Very common for this to start shaking and quaking as you move. Really good for ankle mobility, strength. And now we want to add an arm balance. I'm going to create that isometric engagement. Navel hugs in towards the core. Nice connection between arms and legs. Hands move imaginary jar lids to help suction cup to the floor. Every finger gets some of the weight, every knuckle. Starting to place more weight in the hands. Now, if you have everything working in concert, you'll find the toes can just gently lift off. Try one, explore the other, and then see if you can just tilt forward and bring your toes together, hovering behind you. Of course, we don't want anyone toppling forward on their face. The best way to move towards that is just to press into your hands, feel the weight there, build up to it gradually. Okay, just a little longer here if you can. Stretch one arm towards the ceiling. Keep the other one on the floor, alternate sides. Do that twice each way. You can do this from a more shallow squat if you prefer. Just twice each way. Let it go, coming back up. Shake it out. Let's reset. Okay, we're going to just do a couple more things before finishing the floor routine, the standing up routine. We will do our star shape, plant into your first foot, toe tap the opposite foot, arms go up, star shape. Now from here, you're going to just bring that toe tap to a hover. This could be your work. Balance. If you want to add an oblique crunch, you're going to bring those hovering limbs towards each other. Knee and elbow reach towards each other. And then you reach long, maybe just a few inches towards one another, and then reaching. Maybe you do a full crunch and then extend, breathe. Typically, we exhale with the compressions, inhale with the extensions. There are caveats to that, and really it's just a matter of breathing. Make sure you breathe. And release, switching sides. Toe tap the other toe, arms up, star shape, hover the toe off the ground, and then maybe start to draw those hovering limbs towards one another. Reach. And reach. Oblique crunch. And feel yourself reaching. Another little trick here is that hovering hand. You might imagine there might be an imaginary rope up there for you to hold. That can help, or an imaginary wall you press into. It's actually throwing me off personally right now, but sometimes it helps. And just finish it strong. Release. Let it go. Couple more things. I'm actually going to go ahead and add nice standard quad stretch here before we do our final movement combination, so to speak. And it's really something I like to call around the world is what we're going to do next. But for now, just start to feel that quad open. This is where having a chair behind you can kick your foot up to a chair. If it's too much to grab that ankle with your hand. Feel the distance between the legs, draw it back together. You want to add that dancer's pose. You press ankle into hand, hand into ankle. Square the hips with the floor. And core hugs in. Finding it challenging on this side today, but you get the idea. Breathe. Release. Other side. Start to stretch that quad out. Feel those roots grow from the supporting leg down into the earth. Everything works in concert. Core, rib cage, shoulders, eyes, arms. And start to feel the space between the leg. Draw it back in. Maybe add that dancer's pose if you wish. Isometric engagement between hand and wrist. Glute tugs in, core is engaged. Reach and release. All right. Last but not least for the floor routine, the block. You don't have to use a block. I recommend it because I think it creates a little more space. Also adds a little squish to the support of your foot, so it does make your footwork a little harder, but it does have the advantage of creating a little more space between the hovering foot and the floor. With this one, we're going to start roots grow from that supporting leg into the earth. Check out your posture, and then toe tap out and across the body, in front of the body, to the side of the body. Toe tap all the way around your inner world to the point where you're even wrapping all the way back around, going into a bit of a one-legged squat here. Toe tap and bring it back. Toe tap. Arms go where they need to for support, counterbalance. As you feel comfortable, maybe bring the foot up to a hover. Start to carve out space out and around you. Again, maybe engage that Qigong principle. Imagine you're moving through a blue jello, feeling the atoms through space. Maybe you bring the leg up and start to trace a big sphere around you. This is another move that I got inspired by both Coyle and others. Let's do once more, finish it off strong around the front and around the back. All right, switching sides. Let's plant into that foot. Nice tall posture, toe tap out and across. Feel that positioning on this leg before you start to hover it. The floor is there if you need to release to the floor at any point. Maybe start to gradually carve out more space with that leg. Making the sound effects seems to help me. You do you. Indeed. I love this one because it's playful. It's whimsical. Doesn't it feel whimsical? Around our inner world. Finish strong once more in the front and around the back. Release. All right, you did it. That is my tonic signature stretch and balance routine for the floor work.